Please help me. I need 100 subscribers. I never thought I'd get used to sleeping on the edge of my own bed, staring at the ceiling while the woman I loved lay just a few inches away, yet feeling like she was in another world. Weeks had passed since we'd last touched. Not a hug, not a kiss, not even the accidental brush of fingers. It started small. She'd come home tired from work, say she wasn't in the mood, roll over and fall asleep. I told myself it was just stress, just a rough patch. But night after night, the distance grew wider until it felt like there was a wall between us. I tried to talk to her once. Just once. I remember sitting at the dinner table, the smell of food between us but no warmth. Is everything okay? I asked carefully, trying not to sound desperate. She didn't look up from her plate. I'm fine, she said flatly. And that was it. No explanation, no conversation. I felt like I'd been dismissed. Like I didn't even deserve to know why my own wife couldn't stand my touch anymore. I won't lie, it hurt. More than I wanted to admit. I started staying late at work just to avoid the silence of our apartment. The loneliness was suffocating, but worse was the thought that maybe she didn't love me anymore. Every time my phone buzzed, I secretly hoped it was her saying something, anything, to break the tension. But it never was. And then came that night. My phone rang as I was locking up my office. It was an unfamiliar number, but something in my gut told me to answer. The voice on the other end was calm, but carried a weight that made my heart pound. Are you sitting down? The man asked. No, I said, confused. You should, he replied. And then he told me something that made my hands go cold. Something that changed everything I thought I knew about the past few weeks. I remember standing there in the empty office hallway, phone pressed to my ear, my breath caught in my throat. The man's voice was calm, almost too calm for what he was saying. Your wife, she's been visiting someone. Regularly. At first, I couldn't process it. What do you mean visiting someone? I asked, my voice cracking. He hesitated before answering, like he was choosing his words carefully. I think you should talk to her. Ask her where she's been going after work. Ask her why she hasn't been coming home on time. By the time the call ended, my chest felt like it was caving in. I drove home in a daze, my mind running in circles. The front door was unlocked when I arrived, and I could hear the shower running in the bathroom. For a moment, I just stood in the living room, staring at the closed door, feeling my pulse in my ears. When she came out wrapped in a towel, she looked surprised to see me home so early. You're back, she said almost casually. Where have you been? I asked, my voice sharper than I intended. She froze. Her eyes darted to the floor for a split second before she answered. I was at the gym. It was a lie. I could hear it in the way her voice trembled. Try again, I said quietly. She didn't speak for a long time. Just stood there, her wet hair dripping on the tiles. Finally, she sat on the edge of the bed, clutching the towel tight around her. It's not what you think, she whispered. My hands curled into fists at my sides. Then tell me what it is, I said, fighting to keep my voice steady. Her eyes filled with tears, and for the first time in weeks, she actually looked at me, really looked at me. I wasn't avoiding you because I don't love you, she said. I was avoiding you because I didn't know how to tell you the truth. What truth? I demanded, though part of me wasn't sure I wanted to hear it. She took a deep breath, her shoulders trembling. The phone call you got tonight, it wasn't a stranger. It was my brother. Her words hit me like a thunderclap. Your brother? I repeated, confused. She nodded slowly. He called you because he thought you deserved to know before I said anything. I've been visiting the hospital these past weeks. My mom's condition. It got worse. I didn't want to scare you until I knew how bad it really was. My anger faltered, replaced by a hollow ache in my chest. Why didn't you tell me? I asked softer now. Her tears spilled over as she buried her face in her hands. Because I was ashamed. Every time you tried to hold me, I felt like I was drowning. I couldn't fake being okay. I thought if I kept my distance, you wouldn't see how broken I was. I sat down beside her, the silence stretching between us like a wire pulled too tight. For weeks, I had built walls around my heart, convinced that she no longer wanted me, convinced that maybe she had found someone else. And now, hearing the truth, those walls began to crack. You should have let me carry this with you, I said finally. My voice was rough, but there was no anger left, only exhaustion. I'm your husband. You don't have to go through things like this alone. She turned toward me then, her face pale but her eyes searching mine. I know. And I'm sorry. I thought I was protecting you, but all I did was push you away. For the first time in weeks, she reached for my hand. The touch was tentative, almost fearful, but it sent a rush of warmth through me. I didn't pull away. That night, we sat together for hours, no more lies, no more walls, just the raw, painful truth between us. She told me everything. The late-night hospital visits, the conversations with doctors, the fear of losing her mom. And I listened, really listened, letting every word sink in. When we finally went to bed, she curled against me like she used to, her breathing soft and steady. It wasn't about passion that night. It was about closeness, about finding our way back to each other after being lost for so long. And for the first time in weeks, I didn't feel alone.